In this video, we will be talking about continuation. So it's video recorded and it's also audio recorded stuff. And I am going to refer to this particular visit to the Father as continuation of February the 8th, 2025, where I demonstrated you, depicted you, and proven you beyond any doubts the police play based on MK Ultra scenario, together with the staff from Home for Elderly People, which pertain to the pillows and tailbone. Let me demonstrate you. Tailbone pain, tailbone inflammation due to hardness of the that's the thing, due to hardness of the mattress. And today it's not going to happen probably as they anticipated it would. It would de-escalate this. It will actually escalate this issue. I too have a lot to say about this tailbone play, for which a nurse insisted. Yes, nurse insisted me that Father has a redness. There is a redness that appeared to him in the tailbone area, possible inflammation due to stay in the bed. They started to change his position, and obvious, evident, you don't have to be, I don't know what, to understand that this type of position they lay him with the pillows is actually extremely hurtful for spine. It's a spine breaking position they got him into. And I told you that this play with these pillows was designed to actually expose me coming and causing harm to the Father, as my being the one who would visit Father and would do stuff to him. And they are just responding to the problems that basically that I create. This is how they wanted to justify this this crime with the pillows. I consider this a crime, especially because it's based on MK Ultra scenario. And in this video, as I talk, expose, especially because I myself was tortured at Home for Elderly People in this very facility by this very staff, with the police, with the Novo Mesto police investigators and uniformed police, based on demands of Milan Kucan, based on demands of Slovenian Prime Minister Robert Golob, this individual here who demanded torture to be done that would also involve the surfaces which are semi-hard. Gym equipment, gymnastics, and I would just go here so that you understand exactly what they were doing with me. It would be exactly this stuff here. In Slovenian language we say bradlja, this stuff here. Very, very, very similar to this bradlja, to this type of stuff they were using during my stay at Home for Elderly People. Evidently, is a subject to discuss, because I don't think it was always, and we will get to that issue, a surface that was semi-hard, and for which they claimed me today Even that kind of stuff, it never existed. They never had this kind of stuff. Let me demonstrate. There is another piece of equipment I can relate to give you a better idea exactly what I am talking about. Robert Golob, I was begging him. I was begging him almost on my knees. 33 years of torture was done inside of this room. The torture inside of this room commenced in 1987, 1986, 1987, inside of the room, in this room where my father is. And they were using different surfaces for the physical torture done. So I make you lay in the bed for 1 month at a time. I can do a lot of harm to you. And once the harm is done and I develop the physical injuries on you, all I have to do is basically deliver you back and throw you on the same type of surface. And the pain, the injuries that I have done to you will become, I will need much less time for those to reappear, for you to feel them again. I don't even see this kind of I don't even see this kind of let me just see this here. If I'm gonna find something, I give you a semi-good idea about the stuff I'm talking about. If you would cut the surface here and you would take the upper 10 centimeters, the hardness of the where they would lay me onto would match about this thing here somewhat. I don't know how you say this in English language, but this stuff was brutal. This stuff would leave me with just exactly with what I explained. So what I'm going to do is, this is what we're going to be talking about this video. Slovenian government is using my father to remind me of the crime that was done to me. Nataša Pirc Musar is a Slovenian president. In my personal opinion, this is a psychopath, maniac, who had a lot to do with all kinds of healing procedures. She became, in her mind, in her head, a specialist for the healing, for the natural healings. I frankly think she is sick. One of her specialties also involved healing through what my mother orchestrated below. They refer to, they gave my mother the idea, some people from Kran. They instructed my mom to place candles next to the picture of my sister, and keep it in a certain area so that when I was explaining this is going to be done, I had all kinds of insane people coming in here, and the telephone is just like this. I have kinds of crazy people, really crazy people, if you ask me, coming here. And these are the people from Gorenska region who supposedly figure out, whoever the hell that was, because it was Americans, it was British, it was all kinds of people that became specialists on healings and such, suggesting that when there is a dispute in the family, that the best way to heal that is through basically placing the picture of your relative, and suppose that this will work, then what you do is you live this and you do mourning, and anything that was a dispute and so on brings then relatives together. The violence of Natasha Pierce-Musser and of Robert Golob, I don't find the proper words for it. The stuff they did to me is sick, it's sickening, and the least I would expect from these people, I'm not going to say is to push their nose into my business. Their job, in my case, I have absolutely no doubt about it, was to drive me absolutely insane. They would not be doing this kind of stuff if they wanted to help. And maybe the same or maybe even worse is in the case of the home for elderly people, where they hold father. I think he endured fair amount of torture, self-harm. Yeah, that's actually really a torture. That's really a self-harm. This is not people, if you ask me. These are not people. These are not even animals. It's worse. My father was encouraged into crime. My father was stupid enough to cooperate with these people. What my father saw in this thing is definitely not ethical, because he caused me enormous amount of problems. But what was there in it for him was also not very good. My father was the one whom this individual here, if I would go and I would prorate his pension of my father, duped him by suggesting him how he will increase his pension to look in the future more credible, to be more deserved, etc., etc. You know, with the Milan Kuchen, they came in the house and they started to recalculate the pension from my father, and they started to. This was the man who fixed the pension, not fixed, but he a little bit adjusted the pension up to get the trust from my father, suggesting him that he's going to get a higher pension because of my case and that kind of stuff. That's how they got him. But sometimes I told you that they got the father into the home for elderly people. The increase of the pension for my father is a peanut shit. Practically, I would say, equals to nothing. But it was enough for this leech, for this parasite, to get father from, attention from the father and see himself in it. Father started to play with them at home for elderly people in '96, just as I explained. The last crime this man did to my father was, that was sometimes in 2012, 2013, after they threw me into the psychiatric hospital. First, they used the father to throw me inside of the psychiatric hospital. Once they got my father dumping me inside of the psychiatric hospital in 2012, they threw me inside of the psychiatric hospital with the assistance of my father and also other relatives. Once they did that stuff, they turned around in 2015 They came home and they told the father that he's going to have to go through this procedure, which is basically a murder procedure. This is a murder procedure. He will have to go through this procedure because for what he have done to me, he should have been already in the jail. And this was again the same fucking guy that got him into this stuff. So now what he did was instead, he sit behind the father's neck and told him, if you're not going to comply with us, you're just going to go inside of the jail. If he did not sit behind the neck of my father, then it was my father who wanted to have it this way. It is just as this. My father was threatening me during MK Ultra for doing my stuff on the internet, for not slowing down about MK Ultra, for revolting against, taking it to the internet, disclosing to the whole world about this stuff. I made things extremely difficult for this Slovenian scum here. They all cried to me what I have done to them, because I no longer would back down. I would take it to the internet, and I will continue to talk about the torture, about the MK Ultra torture. Once they threw me in the hospital, psychiatric hospital gloves are off. I had nothing to fear anymore. I got nothing to lose about when talking about MK Ultra anymore. So this is the man. That's why I said that these more likely are not even animals. These are beasts. You might want to say, come on, Bob, Robert, come on, don't talk like that. Well, it's true. It is true. I don't like using this kind of expressions. I don't like using this kind of words. But these are beasts. This is just as I have written on my website. Assassins, killers, murderers. If they would have done it to you or to your family, don't wait for American presidents to give you the green light to talk about it, to address them for what they did, what they are. Just do it, is what they say at Nike. Just do it. Rip them apart. And this is the video, therefore, we're going to be talking to you. We're going to be talking about today. This is an escalation of this issue, which I have posted on Saturday, February the 8th, 2025, when I started to talk about the pillow play, In this pillow play, Robert Golob, Slovenian government, Slovenian parliament, now wants me to discuss about the torture. What type of torture did they use? They used semi-hard surface, in my case, to torture. And you're going to hear me talk in the video about, you're going to hear me along the video, you're going to hear me talking about, you're also going to hear me in the video, you're going to hear me talking about how the father was evaluated on this same type of platform to lay on. No, it's not identical stuff. It was not identical stuff. Father was evaluated. Father was absolutely evaluated in MK Ultra, and I was absolutely shocked to see that everybody inside of the room, the two other roommates and my father, appeared to me to have the same, exactly identical to what I endured during MK Ultra, was this type of surface where you would lay on it. No, that's not entirely the thing. It's not entirely the truth. Psychiatrist Peter Kapsch, who was enforcing this with the Robert Golob, but I have to say to you, the psychiatrist Peter Kapsch was a person during MK Ultra I possibly could not talk to due to his degree of violence. This individual was just bursting from the violence. He was an extremely violent person. If you would ask him something, he would have let me know that he registered, that he understood what I was asking him, in fact, even begging him. And he would turn that to me into a sign of weakness. That's the first thing. He would humiliate me. He would depict me to myself like a weak man for begging him, like you finally giving up. And the secondary thing he would do He would talk to absolutely everybody about it. And then what he would do is he would intensify the torture. Talking to him would only result in more torture. Then it was that second person I could also talk to, and that was Robert Golob, who would come from Ljubljana. Now, this individual was completely merciless and would laugh in my face, looking at me, laugh in my face, and would slowly, he would move his head. He would slowly move his head. Let's see if I can. He would be laughing in my face, and he would slowly go like this. When I was asking him, "Can you please have this surface that you throw me on? Could you have this stuff please replaced with a softer um, version of what it became today evident was a mattress?" You're going to hear me talking to you in continuation about the mattress. In fact, in the video below, that's what you're going to hear. You're going to hear me talking about the mattress, because the man who even told me, the nurse who was involved in this stuff, he even told me, if you will not video record the first stuff where they're going to put the father on, he told me, according to MK Ultra, it's going to be only first 6 months the father is going to be on that. It was more than 6 months. He told me, you will fail. Did I actually video record that stuff? I hope I have it video recorded. Although I don't, if I ever did bother to take that stuff off. It is something that would, when you go to physician, any one of you that goes to physician, and physician is going to say, come on in, and you're going to get in, and he's going to say to you, okay, now you're going to lay down to me on a stretcher so that I can examine whether your heartbeat, or I mean, not really heartbeat, but you know, whatever, chest, whatever they might be doing. Not as hard, I think, as a stretchers, but then again, I don't know how hard a stretchers. Psychiatrist Peter Kapsch was the one who was talking about these stretchers. He wanted me to also use as a comparison stretchers from ambulance when they come to pick you up. He stated just about something like this. But if you are laying down on something like this night and day after day, and even week after week for 1 month, that can be really, really brutal punishment. Today, when I spoke to this nurse, the nurse for whom I have just told you now, and it's the nurse you're going to hear in continuation, my talking to one, assured me that never ever was any such thing. He assured me that father always enjoyed a soft mattress. Father was evaluated during MK Ultra. They engaged in a heavy evaluation of MK Ultra to see whether the father prefers the soft mattress or whether the father prefers a mattress that is semi-hard mattress. And I really don't know exactly what kind of mattress father had before this, but father did hold on to that whatever mattress, half hard mattress, for a very long time. In fact, till he was transferred to Ida when they did paint the room. When exactly they painted the room? I really do not know, but I estimate that probably about, according to my estimation, about like maybe 5 months ago. So um, he was with that type of surface, I believe at least, until 5, 6 months ago, when I actually even noticed that in the room where he was transferred to, in this Ida room, when they were doing the paint, when they painted his room, when he was transferred to that room, they had more luxurious, soft uh, mattresses on this electric beds. Okay, you are going to hear me talking about very precisely, especially at the end of the video, you're going to hear me talking about this stuff very, very precisely about exactly what took place. It's not quite exactly like this. I will fix that portion of the audio recording because it's an excellent audio recording. Once I come out of the home for elderly people today, I did the whole recap about what I have seen. Uh, the only thing I'm going to say to you is that in my case, they were not playing only with uh, mattresses. You're going to hear me talk about the mattresses, like like you would put from the stretcher, you know, on electric bed mattress. No, sir. They were not only playing about with mattresses, they also played with totally hard surface. At one point in time, psychiatrist Peter Kapsch, in fact, had placed me probably, I believe, must have been even a door. So the handyman from this home for elderly people should know where exactly he got a door that he delivered inside of the room, placed that on the bed, and I was literally dumped on a, like, as hard like on a fucking desk. So about the Robert Golub, about the psychiatrist Peter Kapsch, the only thing I can say is these people actually competed how to create more physical pain, how to create more physical injury. It wasn't about whether they have used mattresses. You're going to hear the technician talking about the mattresses. No, sir. They were also using other stuff. Now, that Slovenian state doesn't know absolutely anything about this stuff, or I should say does not want to know anything about this stuff and want me to talk about this is one thing. But this only means that I would love to say that the agreement I had with Slovenian intelligence company Sova, with the police, etc., because they signaled that they are watching everything. They signaled me that they are monitoring everything. I would love to use this language, but as I stated, I don't even consider myself as a Slovenian. This have gone far too far for me to see myself in Slovenia in absolutely any way. I am age 53. I don't need to explain why, how. You got to read my blog, and everything is understandable. Um, what Slovenes did is they took my practically, basically, right, if you want theoretically, not really practically, but if I put it in a way the police officers alone have stated me. They literally pulled my intestines, and on one side they had the Jansha, Katsin, Boucher, and others pulling them, and on the other hand they had Kuchan, Golob, Robert, Borut Pahor, Golobic, Tanya Fajon, etc., 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 pulling it. So, uh, you know, I'm 53, and Milan Kuchan is, I think, 83 years old. All I have to say is Janez Janša, Borut, Igor Baučar, Jelko Kacin, and all these Slovenian people that were involved in it, they really, uh, nobody possibly could provide such a beautiful pension, such a beautiful life to Milan Kuchan as they did. So therefore I have nobody to see myself, no business to see myself in Slovenia in absolutely any way. This nation, Slovenian nation, was implicated in this stuff during so-called Yugoslavia. It all started when I was about 3 months of age, less than 1 year of age, and look at me, it's 2025 now. That was in 1972. And today is now it's 2025. And look at me, I'm picking the signals that my father is sending me. Basically, they are sending me through my father who is confined to this bed so they can get their Slovenian vision, the way the world it should be, the way, they're obviously setting an example for the free world. That's what this is all about. The world should learn about how to treat their citizens, whatever country you're in. This is the way, basically, this is the way it's done. That's why I also mentioned the political party known as Stranka ljudskih prava. Ne? If you remember, that's why I was talking about a political party that immediately just cuts few issues out to give a human being even the ability to see himself as a human being. I don't like people doing crime and hiding behind other issues when they alone are a problem and they alone cause harm, etc., etc. When you cut certain issues out of the element, then they have to be more responsible. In other words, it's much easier to see who is doing what, how, and so on. So this is what this video is going to be about. Nurse did everything possible to steer me in direction of talk about mattresses. In fact, for this, what you're going to see, father is like at 45 degrees today. Was at 45 degrees when I came to visit him. I've never seen him like this, in this kind of position. But since I did this kind of video, since I produced this kind of video like this was the video that destroyed police. Novo Mesto police was destroyed in this video, completely destroyed in this video. Since I did this kind of video, because I revealed absolutely everything about the crime, since I did this kind of video, they got an idea that they could use my memory, that perhaps they could use my memory, which is based on physical torture performed on me. And yeah, you will hear me talking about the trouble, that I had a trouble, that I'm having trouble. At the end of the video, you're going to hear audio. It's in English. It's a recap. It's in English. It's all in English. That I'm having a trouble understanding, and I explain in very details. At the end of the video, when it's finished, I do the recap exactly about what took place. That I have actually great difficulty to even comprehend the stuff because of the degree and because of the amount of torture. I told you this, in this room, the torture started in 1986, when I was in a first grade, second grade of the high school is when it started. My schoolmates who knew about this, who learned about this, certain schoolmates were fucking terrified about this prospect of life like this. They were fucking terrified. This was still Yugoslavia, and this was a Socialist Republic of Slovenia. Due to degree, due to amount of torture, you're exposed to it, your reality, your perception about reality is completely changed. Now, I was tortured on these boards that they were using until 2017, 2018, and basically that makes 18, go ahead, and 18 and 13, that makes about 31 years. 31 years plus, right? So if you torture on somebody 31 years on a semi-hard surface, or even on a door, on a desk type of surface, you have to admit, I had no right to ask Robert Golob about this stuff. I asked Robert Golob The last time I asked him was in 2015. I asked him in 2012, during the physical torture performed on me, based on observation, based on what I have observed they were doing with the father. Because father was the one who got a softer mattress, a very pleasant mattress to lie on it. But to me, they would not give. So in the video also, you're going to hear me, I talk about how they were also doing this stuff with the father. They were doing this stuff with the father as long as they have observed the father was capable to be on that semi-hard surface, semi-hard mattress, to be completely correct. But once they realized that there is actually some better way, because father started also to complain about this stuff, they would immediately supplement that with a softer mattress, which Robert Gulov would not want to get on the picture for whatever costs. Because, yeah, I think that he also wanted my father to suffer with this stuff. But interesting enough, my father was not disturbed with so much as I was. My other problem that I had is they would continue to engage in herniation of hernia they developed. They created a herniated disc. They damaged my spine. As early as in 1989, I even estimate, 3 months into the boxing gym at Gorazd Canic. Canic committed crime together with police. It was exactly 3 months. My full potential in this sport could possibly not even come nowhere even near potential. Because within the 3 months inside of the gym of Gorazd Canic in Novo Mesto, he proceeded to start systematically destroying my spine. So I had a completely different problems than my father. My father's spine compared to mine is like new. And so, yeah, I don't have anything else to say. I hope I did explain properly about what Slovenian government or people, if you like, they espionage one another out there to help me out. And really, one side was putting my intestines into one direction and the other one was trying to save me by pulling them in other direction. And then you know that really with stuff like this, you really just have exactly zero chances to survive. I also took time to explain you. I also took time to point a video where I explained why Slovenian side is doing this kind of stuff at this stage, why they're doing this kind of stuff. And I pointed out that Slovenian side is compelled with American side to do this kind of stuff. I created the video where I state it's called "Not Only America, but the entire world is too small for psychiatric clash with me." I meant absolutely every word I stated in that video. They are doing this kind of stuff. You know why they're doing this kind of stuff? They're doing this kind of stuff because there is overwhelming amount of proofs I already have submitted, supplied with about MK Ultra, identifying people, and other issues. And rather than stop it, rather than confess about this crime, they continue to act like they're helping me out. They continue to act because what they want to do is they want to present, because it's always, if you want to fuck somebody like this, then what you do is you present yourself to the world as somebody who is helping out the person who was injured. And I said, you, that I mean state, that I mean by the police, psychiatrists, staff at home for elderly people, fire people, Slovenian parliament, Slovenian government, Slovenian intelligence agency, SOVA, etc., etc., etc. That's basically is who. Who is you? You British royals that demanded from me to acknowledge torturers as my saviors, and it goes equally to American presidents, to American Congress, senators, Donald Trump's, Biden's, Obama's, Bush, Clinton's, and Carter's, Reagan's, etc., etc. That's basically who. They demand the recognition for the torture. They demand recognition for killing, for the systematic murder that took away from me 53 years of life. And they extort through the psychiatric case they opened against me in 2012, this kind of stuff. They extort through the forced unemployment. They extort through denial of the right to employment, through no right to any kind of social services. The best part of them all is not even the right to go to physician, to use medical services, to check yourself for a certain health issues that are actually life-threatening. I did got 4 hours of sleep. You're gonna hear me. My being actually upset with the father in the video because he pushed me. He really didn't have to do that stuff. For me, not. He really didn't have to do that stuff. And it's also something Robert Golub suggested me. Robert Golub placed himself in a position of the judge, together with the Pahor, with the Kuchan, with all these beautiful people. I don't like using the word Eastern European communists because it's a scum who has nothing to do with the communism, really. But we're using a communism to simply to cause harm and hide behind communism. I don't think that ethnic cleansing pertains to the communism. In China, you don't have Chinese Communist Party killing their own people because of being Chinese and stuff like that. You know, that pertains to the countries that ought to be overthrown, ought to be, you understand me what I'm trying to say. I don't actually have anything else I would say about this stuff. Below this video, as I stated, you're going to hear me talk about, you will not understand that in Slovenian, but I got upset with the father because he pushed me, and there's no necessity to do that. And nurse comes, you're going to see her on the video, who warns me about, he tells me, make sure you're not going to be too late with departure. You know, I can't stay there. I have to leave the home. So me being desperate to give the father physical exercise, he needs to stay alive, literally. Even if he feels better, he does need to do exercise. And father actually sitting on a chair and saying to me, basically building a police case against me. That's exactly what he did today. He would, not only today, but he afforded himself this already a few times before already by going, postman, stating to me, leave me already, you know, really psychotic shit. If you're gonna watch other videos, my father acts really in the bed like a pivot snake. Like he knows exactly where the fuck I come. He knows exactly who the fuck I am. He knows the procedure. The procedure is me placing socks on his feet. Procedure is also before placing shoes so that he can exercise, so that we can exercise. He knows the procedure of my recording, searching for the stuff that could be used against him to cause him harm, such as play with the pillows, as I have recorded, and he knows that I'm trying to comfort him. He knows that I'm trying to be as much as comfortable to him, as therapeutical, as much as helpful as possible. And throughout my entire life, he was using this kind of issues to just give like lunatical responses, like quick, aggressive, like a snake, you know, wow, stuff.
like you would be dealing in a psychiatric hospital. I used to work one time at this South Florida Treatment Evaluation Center in Miami, and they had these patients that committed crimes and were not capable to stand the trials due to their, you know, it's not necessary, but you know, the court would just rate them not capable to stand the trial, mental status basically that would not permit them to go and stand the trial. So they would put them in this facility for them to recuperate enough to actually stand the legal trial, right? And that's where you could see this kind of crazy shit, like, you know, I'm not gonna say prisoner because they were regarded as a residents, but you know, acting like everything is normal, and all of a sudden, boom, you know, explosion, like out of fucking nowhere, unexpected stuff. This is what my father's specialty was throughout my life. Um, he's doing a lousy favor to himself right now because I'm not going to be silent about it. Together with the police, together with the staff from Home for Elderly People, with the physicians, with nurses, with the staff, my father was loudly hallucinating about how to also bail them out once I'm going to come after them and squeeze them against the wall with the physical proofs. And I told him during MK Ultra, I told the father, that's a no, no, don't do that. Today I also told him, don't play with me, I told him. If you're going to play with me, you're going to end up in a DOP. DOP is a correctional facility not too far from here. There was a lot of talk about this DOP. And my father not only understood during MK Ultra what this was, especially because of what I stated to you a little earlier. He had police, he had Robert Golob that would come inside of the house, and they would tell him that he will have to go on a trip that most likely would never return even alive. Either this, or he would have to go, because of the crime he committed against me, to the prison facility. So you can imagine what kind of beautiful people we're dealing with here. Father who did the stuff today might have not even done, especially because he pulled the stuff from MK Ultra. He pulled the stuff from MK Ultra. When he pushed me, it was based on MK Ultra. He immediately proceeded to say, during MK Ultra, he stated to me, I'm gonna say, I did not. Somebody else did. Stuff like this to alert me, basically, that it's according to MK Ultra scenario. And I'm alerting you at Home for Elderly People and the police. I'm not gonna give up on you. You're not gonna be using the father to bail you out, even with the stuff like this. Police was playing with some other issue with my father. I did spoke about that stuff. That was a feeding tube connected to his stomach. Once I placed the father in the bed, all of a sudden I look, the father had a feeding tube hanging out. He had the feeding tube hanging out because it's funny, because usually the feeding tube, since the feeding tube was not out, I'm the one who goes under the shirt and pull the feeding tube up, so it's not next to his balls, actually, in an area below. I'm the one who always corrects this stuff. Today he reminded me. Now there was another person who also reminded me of his crazy presence according to MK Ultra scenario, and that was his roommate that was right next to the father. In audio recording, when you're going to hear me talking about father, play with the pillow, play how they have adjusted his bed to 45 degrees to get my attention and so on. In the first part of the video, actually, in really in this clip here, which really starts about 4 minutes. I'm going to be talking about in English language. And for that matter, I am also going to give you
a whole audio that pertains to this video. I want the whole audio also online, just if not for other reason. You can hear his roommate, which is right next to him, the bed next to him, doing exactly according to MK Ultra scenario. That's basically jumping, making all kinds of remarks uh, to disrupt, to disturb as much as possible, which goal, however, was concentrated, as I earlier told you. I also did not finish to tell you that when you are over-tortured, when you're overwhelmed with the stuff, you don't see with the same eyes stuff than you normally would. When you're going to hear me in the video, I am actually, even in the end of the video, when I do excellent recap about what went on today, I'm going to be talking to you about the mattress, about the semi-stiff mattress and soft mattress like they finally gave to the father. The thing about it is that I did not even understood that there is such a thing, because of the torture, that there is such a thing like the ability to switch the mattress on this bed. That is the crazy fucking part about all this stuff. These are all beds which I also have video recorded already. I did not put this online. No, I actually did this put online. I already did this stuff. How they changed them in '96. I did talk about this stuff. How Robert Golob, Milan Kuchum were involved in exchange of the beds in homes for elderly people with electric beds. I did talk about that on the blogger already, that it happened this way. I was, due to being exposed to the type of torture I told you when it comes to the surface, it was either semi-hard or even they would use plate, a desk, literally, to place me on. Because of that kind of stuff, I did not even consider there would be a possibility to change the mattress on the bed. I did not even consider that would be a possibility of doing it, this kind of stuff. So I started to visualize that entire bed is necessary to change to have this done. And that's how, when they transferred father to this IDA location, to another department, this is how I was asking about if it wouldn't be better to change father bed for the beds that they have in that other department, because it might have been easier. But then on the other hand, the brainwash came to my mind when they were evaluating the father, and they claimed that father actually even prefers the semi-hard surface. Yeah, this is what they were washing my brain with. Talking about the police here, talking about nurses explaining my mother in front of the police. It was like, wow, because I couldn't stand that stuff. And they keep talking about how father, that Nurse Yanko was the one that was explaining about this stuff. This actually is even better. It's more therapeutical. It's healthier for my father to have semi-hard surface, and it doesn't make effect on him. It's better, etc., etc. So, they did so much stuff, changed even perception about reality, about how this stuff can be done, that I did not even question the stuff I actually should question about when they change this mattresses, really, stuff I was talking about, because this is a very nice soft mattress, and the other mattress was not so, was something completely different. And in my memory, it was always that type of mattress. And it also becomes evident from the recording. It also becomes evident from the recording. You're going to hear me talking to the nurse. Yeah, this portion of the recording, you're going to hear me talking to the nurse. It becomes evident that nurse whom I have spoken with today and other nurses are watching my program. They know exactly the stuff I do. They know exactly about the stuff I talk about. He tells me in his conversation, which I'm going to translate to you right now, that he heard. How the hell did he heard if he did not watch my program? Because I was not there until today. Yesterday I was not there. How would you hear about the stuff that was of my concern if you don't read my blog? There is impossible that you would do this. And he was assuring me that father is okay, that he doesn't have any kind of redness, that he inspected one, he doesn't have any kind of wounds. If he would not watch my program, he would not know about any of my concerns. Am I correct or not? And I'm happy that he does. I don't mind him watching my program. I hope actually that he does. That's a good thing. That's a good step. Gosh, now I even forgot what I was going to say because it's a very important point I have to make because there's so many issues. Do you understand how many issues there are involved in this, how many stuff is implicated in this stuff? It's not easy to do this. So once I have spoken to the nurse about this stuff, uh, basically, once I have published this video, and nurse have spoken to me about this pillow play. Yeah, it's a crippled father. Uh, I should put down here pillow play. I will do this so that it will be more visible about this stuff, about the pillow play, playing with the pillows. I did here, play with the pillows, pillow play. It's another video below under this title here, you know. Obviously, because they watched about this stuff, they wanted to get my desperately attention today. So that's exactly what they have done. When I came to the father, his bed was exactly in the position like under 45 degrees like this. Let me demonstrate you. And this is related to the issue that I told you about a little bit earlier when I spoke to you about the overload of the torture. When you torture somebody, you change his perception. And today, ladies and gentlemen, they believed, they were sure, they were certain, because I know how they think about this. This was not the only issue they were doing this way. That I will actually state on the camera, look, it's under the 45 degrees they had father today. Just watch the video. I'm gonna place below this video. They were certain, based on watching the stuff I post online, that I will go due to amount of torture, due to degree of torture, and state that father still has this stiff bed, stiff surface. I know so. I know so because psychiatrist Kops was targeting these issues to prove that I'm insane. He would do certain issues that he would torture so much on certain issues. He would brainwash so much on certain issues till he would actually get a feedback with my stating something that was completely evident that it was not, that it is, in fact. So they were expecting, based on watching this stuff here that I posted, that I am, in fact, even going to say, when I came, this is how they disturbed me. This is how they disturb you with very unusual stuff, that he is in this kind of position. Crazy stuff. All of a sudden, he's in crazy stuff. And that's why I'm going to put the audio. When I was recording this stuff in English, I told you when it starts in a 4 minute, you're going to hear the neighbor of my father roommate also, how he is doing all kinds of stuff, all kinds of gimmicks to disrupt, to disturb the thinking process for me to properly explain about what they did. That's basically how they get the statements, and then you are insane. He is saying this and that, and so on. Well, this is basically bestiality. The main thing about this video is located right here in this second clip, when his roommate, based on MKUltra scenario, brainwash, expected I'm going to even see this stuff. I'm going to even talk about they were sure that I'm going to say that they must have changed this stuff just yesterday or today. You understand me what I'm trying to say? Because here I talk about play with the pillows, and I explain in this video here, I explain in detail what kind of impact that had on his tailbone, about which female nurse complained about, if you understand me what I'm saying. And so they knew about the tailbone with the stuff they have done to me. And they anticipated I'm going to come and even state they must have changed this bed, that they must have changed this bed into the softer version either today or the day before yesterday based on watching my video, which absolutely they did. Just as I stated, in a little bit I'm going to play you the conversation with the male nurse between me and him. That's in respect to this new position that he's under the 45 degrees. And, you know, if he is on the back and under the 45 degrees, that places a tremendous strain on his tailbone. If that would be a hard surface, it would. It would, if that would be a hard surface. But it becomes evident that the surface is not hard. If you understand me what I'm trying to say. And since this is a lot about the conspiracy theories, they were sure I'm going to bring the theory and say, well, they changed the bed yesterday or today. And this was completely copy-paste, torture, a replica of the brainwash, which included even the roommate from my father, so they would accomplish this. There were many crimes involved in this stuff today, and the biggest one was exactly this one, the one that I told you right there. They all play together, and they all play very smart. They did until today, and that's why I know I have to ante up this stuff, which I did perfectly all right. I explained even today about what they were up to, what the play with the pillows was, what this was about the tailbone and so on. How they do this kind of stuff, how you make mistakes, how they basically rape you, how they compel you to make mistake, how they rape you, compel you to say stuff that is not. So I'm going to use this. Listen, this psychiatrist Peter Karsh was an animal, and the same thing is just as big animal was Robert Golob. So, and Natasha Pierce Musar, etc., etc., etc. These people, I'm not going to say they didn't have feelings, but these are the people, these are exactly the same kind of people. If you want to know how I see these people, this is actually this pit here, which they loaded with the people, and then they cemented them for the people to choke and die from the thirst, from the hunger, from the lack of the oxygen. It's called Ro Barbara. This is in Slovenia. This stuff here. This is the same kind of people who cemented the people inside and there. This is the same, these are the identical people. These are actually worse than that. And this is exactly identical, the same kind of procedure that these people were doing after the World War II to simply murder the people, not out of a necessity, but simply out of pleasure, out of need, out of, just to get back for the stuff to the people who have not even committed crimes. Just so they could create a terror society which was based upon this Yugoslavia. This would turn out to become really nothing other than Serbian ethnic cleansing throughout Yugoslavia. They were killing people just for nothing. You could disappear on on a Bear Island, Gali Otok, or you could disappear, more people disappeared inside of the psychiatric hospitals, prisons, and so on, just based on the terror that people remembered have taken place right after the World War II, that people even can see even today in 2025. This is Slovenia. This is a real Slovenia. You don't want to talk to me about the Slovenia. This is Slovenia. This is a real image, the real face of the Slovenian people. And I don't give a fuck whether you are leftist or you are rightist. I don't really care how you classify yourself. The stuff you're doing, the stuff you have done is extremely unethical. And the stuff you continue to do is extremely criminal. And that still doesn't allow you, that still doesn't entitle you to do the stuff to me. Because I will come after you and fuck you even more. You're gonna cry even more for the stuff you have done to me. Here, ladies and gentlemen, they got absolutely nothing. I did broke entire video exactly to what they have orchestrated today. I broke it down an entire video, everything I have pointed you out, what they anticipated that they would even collect, basically how they wanted to demonstrate this schizophrenia, this mental illness, how this, there was so much torture inside of this home for elderly people, literally without giving me even drink anything, and were using tubes for the food through the nasal hole. They push me for the food. They would insert them here down, and it would be for the food, literally. And the throat would get completely thirsty. When you get thirsty, completely dry in the summertime. And then they would use those tubes to literally scratch the throat, basically, to do that kind of stuff. They were literally using the tubes to scratch me the throat. Žrelnica, mandali. You don't even understand what kind of pain the fuck that is. You don't even understand. You people you don't know what kind of stuff the fuck I'm talking about. This is a very, very simple stuff, yet bestial stuff. They were doing a very, very simple stuff, yet stuff that would have the worst effect on you possibly for your fucking lifetime. That's Milan Kurčan, that's Robert Golod, that's Borut Pahor. To je silna naša moč, to so naši fantje, naši partizani, naši borci, naša osvobodilna fronta. These are the people that were from the national resistance, the freedom fighters as they presented themselves. This is what I dealt with. This is the type of stuff I dealt with. This is what this is all about. Now, let me play you the recording, the stuff between me and the nurse that developed. Once I found father in this position of 45 degrees, I had it to him because I wanted to hear his side of the story, of what he's got to say about that. And he did inform me. He confirmed exactly what I stated the other day on the video. I'm actually quite grateful to him for him saying this. He did state it to me. He said to me, I checked him, obviously that he is watching the stuff I do. And he said to me, I checked him and I did not realize I had not observed any kind of wounds on his tailbone area, anything like that. And so, well, that's why he had this under the 45 degrees. Nothing like the nurse, the female nurse claimed me the other day, 2 days ago, resulted in a play with the pillows, for which I suggested that they are going to break him a spine. So this is all kinds of conspiracies, but all those conspiracies were developed by the police. And if you know that if you're an investigator, if you're a police officer, whatever the fuck you work at the United Nations or Justice Department, FBI, or, I'm discussing with the CIA, I wouldn't even mention anymore. And that's bad, because the CIA, I always saw that like a U.S. Army. I even felt that I'm a core of the U.S. Army. I'm really disappointed about this. Well, that's okay. No wounds, no nothing, none of this stuff. Let me just go and let's play this. So I say good evening, and he says good evening, and I tell him, I say to him, you know, I was at a father. I have seen the father that he is laying under the 45 degree, that he's got extremely high his Usglavia. I don't know how you say Usglavia. That would be where you, the upper part of the body basically with a head, right? 45 degree. And I mentioned him 2 days ago. There was a nurse who mentioned me, the lady mentioned me 2 days ago that my father has inflamed tailbone area. That's basically a lower part of his spine inflamed. And that can be really, really trouble if it's a hard surface, of course. But, of course, I realized immediately, you know, you can see here that when I entered, because everything is timed out, that's why I use this camera timestamp. The first thing I did before I headed to the nurse, and they knew that this is exactly what I'm going to do. They knew, you know, they knew that the first thing I'm going to do when I come to him, I will video record this, you know, mattress, if you like. You see this? They knew that the first thing I'm going to do is that is going to be this thing. This time they knew that is going to be the first thing I'm going to do is going to be this thing. And they knew it based on watching my video as I demonstrated, right? So we are getting little by little. It's not easy stuff. These videos are not fucking easy because it's a lot of crazy stuff from MK Ultra. He said, no, this is not a problem. I checked the father. I have not observed. I have noticed anything, nothing that will be inflamed. He's basically saying you're all good. You got nothing to worry about that. Yeah. And what he is saying again is exactly according to MK Ultra scenario. Exactly. I do have to place this like this. You know what I asked him? I asked him exactly what I just told you. I asked him, please tell me, did you guys change him a bed? And I would like to know when exactly have you changed him a bed? I tell him, before that you had a bed that had a hard surface. You see, I was sure that the beds they were using were completely different beds. And I was sure that the beds they were using were completely different beds because of what I explained you, because of degree and because of amount of torture involved in this case. The handyman from this home for elderly people, uh, he would threaten me during MK Ultra that if I will not be good, that he will bring these doors and put them on the bed. Yeah, and I had no way to see. You see, I had no way to see whether it was a bed or was it a mattress or what the fuck it was. Do you know I had no way to see it? Because the first torture that took place in 96 and 97. And back then they didn't have electric beds, electronic or electric beds, whatever you want to call this. So I have gone through two different beds and I have gone through several different surfaces, or if you like to call them mattresses, plus desk, like a solid desk. I'll fucking put you on a fucking solid desk to lay down. I'm gonna see how long is it gonna take before I break you. Uh, what the fuck is this if not a physical torture? You don't need for the physical torture to, like you watch, movies and stuff like this. The main goal of the physical torture that pertains to MK Ultra are the torture procedures which on the outside, on a visibility, do not leave any sightings, anything. Just as the Central Intelligence Agency instructed to kill me must be done, the killing must be done in such a way so that it could not be acknowledged on the surface it was a torture. Just as Prince Andrew was given the instructions to surveillance site together with the Charles, they demanded the torture to be done in such a way. You see how great people these are. They provided an alibi. You see, Milan Kuchar has really great friends in London. Imagine to have a friends like this in London that'll come and cover up like this for your country. And the claims, whoever is going to make claims against you at European Court, at Amnesty, at United Nations, U.S. Justice Department, are not even get through. And he is actually even teaching you how to do this stuff, to murder the guy. Those are really great friends. I'm going to say they are great friends. Now I'm going to be really like Alexander Usyk already. And I'm going to say to you, Charles, and to you, Andrew, you are my friend. Like this, Alexander Usyk, if you will ask Alexander Usyk where he got his quote from, you are my friend, he will, if he will be honest, he will tell you he got one from me, based on what he watched went on during MK Ultra. Alexander Usyk and his father were deeply involved in this case, just like Anthony Joshua and his father, etc., and Lennox Lewis, etc. All of them. So they don't want me to talk about this stuff. They don't want me to ask him the questions about it. Yeah, but I want the answers on this stuff here. I want to know. I want to understand what happened here. And so he doesn't know anything about any beds. He keeps talking about one mattress, that it was all the same mattress, which I already have explained at the beginning of the video. This was exactly the guy who ordered me that I have to video record this first mattress when they're going to deliver the father to the hospital. If I will not video record one, I will have no proofs about one. The hardness of that mattress matched, not completely, and I know so not completely because they throw me also on a stretchers during MK Ultra, and they threw me on stretchers one time in my life, in real time. They also threw me on a stretchers when they engaged in a psychiatric hospitalization in 2012. However, in 2012, you can trust me, I didn't pay attention to the hardness of the stretcher. It was actually quite comfortable. I didn't suffer anything. I didn't feel anything. I didn't even think about that stuff. I had other things to worry about. But I can assure you that in 2012, the driver behaved so insane, driving in such a way that I wasn't sure we were going to even fucking make it to this psychiatric hospital, Ljubljana Polje, alive. That's how crazy that hospitalization was. This stuff here, I don't even know what I was going to say. There was so much torture that I didn't pay attention to the hardness of the stretchers from hospitalization in 2012, but based on MK Ultra, I can tell you that the stretchers, because they were using them during MK Ultra many times, they were harder than the surface I am referring to. Maybe, but just a little bit. And that's also questionable what the fuck it was. Because I remember the hardness of these stretchers they were using during MK Ultra, based again on brainwash, in which police, psychiatrists, Peter Kapsch demanded from me to acknowledge how hard the stretchers are. So what kind of stretcher were those? I don't know. I had no fucking idea. They told me those are stretchers. So I would eventually have to go and test the stretchers to tell you how hard this surface I am talking about. Obviously, as this gentleman here is saying, mattress was. I'm going to put it this way. How hard? It's not difficult to tell how hard. It's not difficult to tell how hard. Today, because he's saying that it never was such a... I'm going to do this for you because he is saying that never ever was anything like this. There was no other no other mattress. Well, today when the father was under the 45 degree, at the end of the bed, it was like this because it was soft mattress. It was like this, yeah, toward the end of the bed. Basically, because the bed was like this, right? It pulled the mattress in such a way that it created also a wave like this, yeah. But the mattress I am talking about, obviously that's a mattress, was so hard that it would be flat, completely flat, like a desk, and like you see the computer basically. There would absolutely be nothing like this. You would see none of that kind of stuff. It was just really almost completely hard surface. It was stiff stuff. So that's a difference, you must admit. Even if you put that under the 45 degrees, which I would do to get the father out of the bed, that mattress would not bend even a little bit. So we can do that. We can do that stuff. It's not difficult to do that. So yeah, he doesn't want to know anything about this. So I am just being nice. I'm going to play you this stuff one more time so that you can see that I'm being nice, civilized when talking to him, investigating this stuff basically. He claims there was no other mattresses. There never was any other mattresses. This always were the mattresses. And it's interesting because the telephone go crazy. He does have a change of the shift at this time, obviously. So I do realize that maybe the timing is not exactly the best. I can tell you exactly what time it was. Yeah, it was about 6:48, 6:50. So that's about 10 minutes before the end of his shift at 1900 hours. 1848 you have seen right there. I don't know what I stated. So, yeah. So he tells me, Ida, what I do is I go and I'm very specific about when they change this bed. I remind them that during the Ida, he still have this hard bed. I am very specific about this stuff. I'm very specific about this stuff. I hope he still had that bed because I was dreaming about that bed, that it would be good for the father to have that other bed. But the thing about it is I was also thinking about this police, Nurse Yanko, about psychiatrist cops and so on, brainwashing me in front of the mother. They were giving her the reports repeatedly. They repeated the same shit. that they found that this mattress, obviously it is, um, during MK Ultra, they will admit, they will recognize, they refer to the mattress as a bed. That's another issue why they made me feel that it was a bed. We're talking about it. It was all the time the same bed. Okay? They claim that it's more therapeutical, that it's healthier for the father than the other, the mattress that you have seen father was using now. He says to me that with the father they never change anything, that he always had this type of hardness, that always was this type of bed. They never changed the bed, etc., 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 etc. Very, very way, basically, that he would not want to answer this question, I would say. Simple as this. And yes, I also would not proceed to drill in one. I thank him very much and I go my way. That's all there is to it. I don't get into this stuff. Let me play you this stuff one more time for the audio sake. Yeah, I thank the man, and this is what I do. I depart. That's all there is. Absolutely, he did not answer my questions. Yeah, that's what happened when you fuck somebody 53 years of life and health. You actually expect he's going to thank you and that he will consider you as somebody who is helping him out through this kind of circumstances. You must be fucking kidding me. The only thing you, Slovenia, have done it, you have done a commercial for yourself. You demonstrated others around the world
how the law, the Constitution, United Nations, everything is just shit out there for you to wipe your ass against for the sake of Russia and Serbia. And even if it's not for the sake of Russia and Serbia, as I suggested a little earlier, if it's for the Central Intelligence Agency, FBI, whoever the fuck this is for, definitely is not for me. This shit is gonna fall straight on you. You are the one who did this stuff. You are Ro Barbara. Thanks for watching a pit that I demonstrated a little earlier with those bones and stuff like this. They're all over Slovenia. They liquidated God knows how many people. And not because it would be a necessity, but just because the order was issued so they could build their terror government. This is how they were doing this stuff. Thanks for watching this video. Till next time. Psychiatrist Peter Kapsch. Very, very poor inside in there. He even insisted me during an MK Ultra that I will get the opportunity when I do this video to test the stretchers from the psychiatric ambulance really, really soon. What a cretin imbecile. Today, this goes under February the 9th, 2025. Today, however, is already February 10, 2025, and I just happened to like number 9.